Welcome students. In the engineering geology last class we are seeing about the earthquake, natural disaster earthquake. Right? This class we will see about the another natural disasters, landslide. Okay. So landslide, what are the classification of landslide? What are the causes and effect measure to be taken and prevent the occurrence of the landslides, and some case studies we will be seeing. Okay, what are the causes, what are the types we will see today. And what is a landslide? Landslide is the downward sliding movement of the earth. As a mass of the earth that is moving down, we call it as a landslide. You can see here, this is obstructing the entire highway. Here you can see the landslide where all the buildings there were brought down. Here you can see due to the landslide, the valley was brought down, right? So this is a landslide. A landslide is a downward or outward movement of the soil, rock or vegetation under the influence of gravity. Okay? So the maximum it is the landslide occurs in the hills and the mountains, and it will be a sudden or it may be a slow. Slowly it can move, the earth movement, or it can be a sudden. Okay, the other definition is that landslide is also called as a landslip. It's a geological phenomenon. That's what we are studying this, because it is mainly based on the formation of the earth and the formation of the slope or other things. It is fall, and also it is mainly to include the range of ground movements such as rock falls, deep failure of slopes and shallow debris. So we can see it is a geological, or we can see it is a soil, comes under the geotechnical. Mostly this movement are all based on the movement of the rocks. That is, we call it as the geological phenomenon. Then landslide is defined by the movement of the mass of rock, debris or earth down the slope when the shear stress exceeds the shear strength of the material. This is the geotechnical definition for the landslide. When the shear stress exceeds the shear strength. So shear strength is the sliding strength. All of you know it is the sliding one another. We call it as a shear. So when the shear stress is increasing the strength which can be bared by the soil, then this landslide occurs. Okay. So there is this is the earth movements. So the earth movement is divided into three parts. That is, all the movements of land masses are referred as landslides, but are differ in many respects. Therefore, all types of landslides are categorized as the earth movements. Generally, we take it as a earth movement. Landslide is one of the earth movement. Okay. So, what are the? First one, it is earth flow, landslide and subsidence. So, we will see one by one in detail about the earth movement. So, this is a slow movement. Maybe we call it as a slump. Slump is a slowly moving we have studied about the slump test in concrete technology, right? It is when we are removing the slump cone, it slowly subsides. So there is a slow movement, we call it as a slump. So it may be a falling or it may be a sliding. The next one, it is a fall, where the rocks fall and it will, if it is a steep like this, it will fall like this. Or the debris will fall. Debris means small particles of rocks along with the other matters, trees and other things. Then it is a very slopey means then the slide will take place. If it is a very deep, then the fall will take place. Okay, you can see here the things and the debris, everything. Debris including the that is broken, that is houses, dams, everything. That is debris, everything will be taken to the bottom. That is the slide. Next we will see in the earth flow. So we will see about the earth flow. What is earth flow? The earth flow, the downslope, viscous flow of saturated, fine-grained material which move at any speed from the slow to the fast. So from a high region it will grow and it can be moving like this. No, it can be a slow movement or it can be a fast movement. That we call it as a earth flow. The earth flowing from one place to another. That we call it as a earth flow. The other things may be the mud flow or lava. Mud flow is referred to the mudslide, where actually in the heavy rainy season you can see the mud along with the water that comes. So actually it is saturated with water and speeds down the hill in a muddy river carrying the debris. This is a very major effect during the rainy season. Last year 2019 and 18, there was a heavy debris flow in the Munnar in Tamil Nadu, Kerala. That is in Kerala border, Tamil Nadu, Kerala border. And another Kerala, many places has landslide because of this muddy flow. And the next one we call it as a laha. Laha is an Indonesian bird and it is the volcanic debris flow. So where the volcano is there, it will flow will be very high and it will be hard debris, that we call it as a laha. So these are the two earth movement. Okay. So the next one we will see about the earth flow. That number one, it is the solidification. It is a downward movement of wet soil along the slope under the influence of gravity. You can see due to the gravity, there will be a flow of the mass of the earth. We call it as the solidification. So, SOLIFLUCTION. So, you can see here, due to this, it will form here, the mass of the earth is moving here. Here also you can see here. Okay, the mass of the earth is coming. Here you can see even in the rocks, the mass of the earth forms and it formed the rock after several million of years ago. The next one, it is the creep. The first one, it is the solidification. The second one, it is the creep. Creep, what is creep means? Even you have studied about shrinkage and creep. Creep is nothing but the long-term sustained load, we call it as the creep. So due to the long-term sustained load, there will be a slow movement, so that we call it as the creep. So actually the slow movement of the soil in the range of few centimeters per year, we call it as a creep. That is a very slow movement. Okay, if it is a rainy, it will be a fast movement, but this creep will be very only a few centimeters every year. We cannot feel that movement. The phenomena occurs either seasonally or continuously. So maybe because of the rainy season there may be a creek, or due to the formation of different types of rock there may be a creek, or it can be seasonally or it can be continuously, there may be some movement. So actually you can see here, there is a fence here, I don't know whether you can see, there will be a fence that is moved. The fence should be here, but it has moved. The movement of the curved nature of the fence, everything will show, and also this curved trees. So this we call it as a zone of creep. The tilted fence, the curved tree, the broken retaining wall, the tension cracks in the roads beneath, everything shows that there is a creep movement. Okay? So these are the points that has to be taken when we find out where the creep is occurs. This is a type of earth flow. This is the zone of creep. So you can see this is the mountain. Okay, there is a retaining wall. Here there is a this road is going, right? So okay, so here what happens? There is a curved trees are there, the branches are curved. So this will determine that there is a creep is occurring in the soil, or a tilted fence. So the fence should be like this, but the fence will be like this in the curved portion. So that is called as a tilted fence. The retaining wall which retains the earth's surface from falling down, that will be broken, or that there will be some retaining wall will be falling down, or some tension cracks will be there in the surface of the road. This all determines that there is a creep that is taking place. Creeps can buckle walls but not life-threatening. We can sufficiently take care of this creep. If we see that there is a creep, now we can go in for a retaining wall, we can go for stability of structures, everything, and we can stop we take care of the creep. Preventive measures can be done, mitigation can be done in order to safeguard. This process can be slowed down by planting the trees. This is the main thing. Planting more trees will bring down the creep. Okay. And it is a creep with extremely slow downward movement of dry surfacial matter. It is not a wet one, it is a matter where the surface is very dry, only this creep takes place. And the movement of the soil occurs in regions which are subjected to freezing and thawing condition. Freezing means it is going below 0 degree temperature, where it is gone for ice. Thawing is at a high temperature, where the water that is held in between will evaporate. So freezing and thawing due to that movement, cooling and heating movement, this may occur mostly. The freezing lifts the particle of the rock, soil and rocks. Because all of you know if I am going to chill or I am going to have a water that is turned to ice, there will be expansion, right? There will be expansion of the entire solid mass. That is that the freezing of the particle lifts the soil particles, and when I am heating the same ice, I will get a very less amount. That is the thawing, the particles are set and broken down, so but not in the same place as before. So here in the soil, the same freezing and thawing will take place. But if the freezing is taking place, the thawing it will enlarge and it will take place in another place. So that is the rate of movement that occurs. You can see here the soil creep. You can see this is not creepy area. This is the creepy area where you can see that trees are bent. Okay. So the tension cracks in the load, the leaning poles. This is this is what fence it was not proper, it is curved, then the bent tree, everything gives you the creep is there. You can see here, this is the original creep. So then third one, it is a rapid flow. Solidification, then creep, the third one in the earth flow, it is a rapid flow. So similar to the creep, this rapid flow is not a slow movement, it is a fast movement. Very fast movement, and it occurs for a very height differs. For a creep, if it is 1 to 2 meters, means for a rapid flow to occurs, the height should be more than 5 meters or more. Then it will be fast, the whole trees will come down, entire thing will happen. So this is a rapid flow. So till now we saw this in the earth movement, we saw solidification, creep and rapid flow. Next we will see about the landslide. So what is a landslide? If a mass of earth moves along a definite plan of surface, the failure is termed as the landslides. So here you can see a definite earth surface has moved and it has in the path and it has blocked the entire thing, that we call it as the landslides. But then it is also known as slump block, because slump is a large mass of materials, rock or the soil that moves along the plane, and this landslide is easily visible. We can easily see the landslide, and they can occur along a slope where the internal resistance of the rocks are reduced or they lose their holding capacity. That is where the shear stress is higher than the shear strength. When it loses its holding capacity, when the internal resistance of the rocks are reduced, then we will have this landslides. Common after earthquake or after removal of part of the slope due to the construction, particularly for the construction of roads. Okay. So this is one of the landslide. You can definitely see this. There is a big mass of land that has moved down. So okay, you can see. I don't know. Okay. So I want to show you a video there. And the slump or debris slide is that the first one is the slump or debris slide in the landslide. So the soil mass moving at a speed of very few tons of meters to very hundreds of meters per hour. So it is a rapid flow where it moves per tens per meter to a few hundreds per meter per hour. So this is a slump block. It will move just like a block down. So it is a curved slump plane. You can see. It is not hazardous to life, but it is threat to do natural properties. You can see the landslides, the debris slides. The next one, under the debris slide, there is two things. One is a rock slide and rock fall. Rock slide, you can see here, it is a very steep things, and it is over steepened because the cut of the to put a highway and other things, they have made a deep cut. So what happens? A slump of soil falls down. So by which it makes a very slope. It is very cut is made as a slope by itself. Nature itself will make a slope. Right? This is a displaced highway. That is what it happens in the debris slides, where the mass of the land falls down, by which the slope of itself can be maintained. These are very common steep lands, rivers, lakes, etc. Pore water pressure is a key in monitoring the landslide. Shear strength decreases and the weight increases. Here you can see the debris slide. Okay. So this is a bedrock that is forming this. And this is a rock falling and rock slide. You can easily identify. So here if if it is a very steep thing, then the rock will roll and fall here. But if it is a very slopey thing, then the rock will slide. That is the rock falls and rock slides. So here in another thing, it is the formation of talus. We call this as a talus, where the rock slide or the rock fall. Mostly the rock fall comes and fall as a coarser rock fragments, small fragments. It will break into pieces, forms for small fragments. We call it as the talus. Talus is accumulation formed by the coarser rock fragment resulted from the mechanical weathering along the slope under the influence of gravity. So you can see this is a rock fall, where the rock falls and the entire highways are things. Due to the rock fall, the entire building has tilted and came down. So the third one, so here you have seen the earth flow, solidification, fluxion, creep and rapid flow. Solidification, creep and rapid flow, debris, rock fall, rock slides. The next one we are going to see about the subsidence and plastic flow and collapse. What is a subsidence? The downward movement of the surface, we call it as the subsidence. You must have seen somewhere in the middle of the road, there may be a hole suddenly formed. Right here you can see the truck has fallen inside. Even near the home there will be a small formation of these deep things. That is, they occur due to the plastic outflow of the underlying strata due to the compaction of the underlying material. Either the underlying material must have compacted a lot, or the underlying material must have been eroded. Due to these things, these two things will happen. That is the plastic movement, and also the another one, it is the collapse. The plastic flow occurs when a plastic layer like clay blade is squeezed outwards due to the underlying heavy load. Okay, due to the underlying heavy load, this plastic layer will go down and it forms a cavity that we call it as the plastic outflow. And the collapse, it occurs when the extensive pull of the large volume of underground water. So when there is underground water is pulled down so much that it forms the this subsidence will happen, so that it is called as a collapse. Okay, you can see here there is a formation of collapse and also there is a formation of the plastic flow. Both the things are can see here. Okay, so the next one, it is the another thing of this is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Because of the neighborly, there is a one layer of soil that was taken and the water was there, and that is the tilting of this groundwater was withdrawn from aquifers near to it, by which the bottom layer was very porous, weak, and this made the tower lean. Okay, so the next one, so this is the three things we have seen. Okay, so we have seen about the earth flow, that is solidification, creep, rapid flow, debris slide, that is landslide, rock fall and rock slides, subsidence, plastic flow and collapse. Now we will see about the landslide in detail. Okay, so what are the classification of landslide? So based on the classification, material we will be taking, what is the type of rock, what is the lithological layer, how soft the rock is there, what is the movement of the rock, the structural and the geotechnical properties, the geomorphic attributes, the weathering and the slope form. What is the formation of the slope, what is the weathering condition, is there erosion, which part of erosion will be there, everything. And the third one, it is a landslide geometry. It is the height, that is the height, depth, width of the rock, and also the type of movement, whether it is a fall or slide or the flow, etc. It is a climate, whether it is a glacial climate or tropical climate. Tropical climate, there will be mostly the creep, and in the glacial climate there will be glaciers. And inside when there is a rain, these two places there will be heavy landslide. Water, whether it is a dry slide or wet slide or saturated slide, always it is saturated. Speed of the movement. As we saw rapid flow, it is a very fast. Creep means very slow. So what is the speed of the movement? Speed of the movement will be proportionate to the damage caused by the landslide. Triggering mechanism, whether the rainfall or earthquake which is triggering the landslide, that is all there. So based on these conditions, we have four types of landslide: falls, topples, slides and flows. So this is one condition based on the material properties which we have taken. So you can see here the falls. So it is the, as I told you now, the big rocks that is falling down, we call it as the falls. And the top is, that is a fall is a mass detached from the steep slope or the cliff and descends to the free fall, bonding and loading, right? So this we call it as the, this coming from the steep slope. So this call it as the falls. And the toppling. Toppling is nothing but one, column like this, it will move like this, topples down, like that. So each layer of this rock will be of different segments which will topple down, and it forms a rolling of the rocks which we call it as the topples. The third one, it is the slide. So slide, you can say, as I told you, it is a fall or the slide. Slide is the movement in the slopy area. That is, it will move in the slopy area. The slope, because of the wet condition, the movement may be heavier, that is faster. But in the dry condition, due to creep, the movement will be slow. Or that's the flow. Flow will be mainly because of the rainy season. The flow along with the water will be moving in a very fast condition. So it is a fluid motion. As I told you, it is with a fluid motion, it will flow. So the other type you can see here. So in this diagram, you can clearly see all the types, right? This is a rock slide is there, and there is a collapse is there, okay? And submerged landslide, because of the slopy area, the landslide is there. Here also you can see from the landslide, because of this hilly slope, and rock fall is mainly where there is a deep, steep rocks are there, and this is a debris along the water. When rainfall is there, along the water, that is the rivers or the streams, all the loosey mud, that is loosey rock materials flow along with the river, that is the debris flow in stream channel, and you will have the eroding cliff. That is due to this rock fall, what will happen? This will come and this will come here. So there will be eroding cliff. So this gives you the basic idea. The next types, it is based on the movement of the rocks. The first one, it is a rotational slides, moves along a surface of rupture that is curved and concave. So you can see here, if it is this structure is having a slope like this and the movement of the rock will be like this, then we call it as a rotational slide. The next one, it is a translational slide. Translational slide will be along a movement in a very gentle slope, right? Mostly this will be along with the fluid movement. You can see here it is along the gentle slope, right? So the next one, it is a rock fall. As we have already seen, the rock falls is mainly from a deep, steep rock surface, right? So already mostly this is man-made, because mostly the peoples will be cutting the rock into steel, where they will be used for paving the roads and other things. So this will be, there will be a rock fall. When there is the rock loses its shearing strength, it will fall down. So here you can see, this is a very steep one, rock fall. And the next one, it is a rock toppling, as we have already seen. It is a moving of segmental rocks. And the next one, it is a lateral spreading. Lateral spreading is mainly because of the debris. Okay, so when there is a tensile strength in the bottom of the rock soil is very heavier, it grows and grows and grows along with the soft soil, clay, it will form this spreading of the muddy layer along with the debris in a certain point, that we call it as the lateral spreading, and the debris flow. So the debris means usually the landslide, if it is going to demolish so much of trees or so much of buildings along with that, the buildings will break down, and everything along with the rock and soil, this debris will move down. It makes the movement very faster due to the heavier mass. The gravity movement will be very faster. You can see here. So it has almost covered the entire area. Okay. So thank you. So with this we have completed the types of this landslide. Next class we will see about the causes and the further case studies. Thank you.